install some more goodies. So we out here, got the trailer hooked to the C-10. Safety hooks in there, wiring ran over there, the plug-in. Got the nitrous tank mounted there and plumbed in. You can see when the C-10's lowered, the trailer sits pretty low in the front. The risers are maybe a little bit short, but it works. I never actually drive laid out like this. You see it's all the way down on the ground. And this is about half an inch off the ground. So I took this around the block a few times, and it actually got a little hot on the tranny, which it was expected. So I ordered a B&M Shift Plus, I believe it's called. It's like a little programmer. That's pretty cool. It's a two-wire programmer. You just splice it in, and then it has a tow and a race mode, which will in turn quicken the shifts, which lowers the clutch heat, which will keep the tranny a little bit cooler, as well as that one tranny cooler I put in there. So there's the truck with the trailer hooked up. No weight on the trailer, so to speak. And you can see that the truck is still plenty high off the ground, lifted about 7.5, 8 inches. You can see the difference there between the bumper and the ground. But with a loaded trailer, I'm afraid it's not going to be strong enough. So what I did was I bought some standard air shocks off eBay. These are used, but these are just air shocks like what you find in, say, for towing applications like a Silverado or a newer one or whatever. So I'm going to install these underneath the box somewhere. I have one for each side, and I'll kind of explain to you how I do this because it's kind of complicated with bags. My fucking tripod got blew over. What the hell? As soon as I hit it, it was like... So here's a basic drawing of, here's the rear end tires, here's the front, just to give you perspective. This is the frame rails here, and now this is a link bar. The link bar is what holds your rear end in place. And on my setup, my bag is about here. So that's an airbag. So that's called a bag on bar. Now when this articulates, it goes, pretend it goes up and down like that when the bag is aired up and then lowered, aired up and emptied, whatever you want to call it. Now, with this bag here, this is a 2-to-1 ratio because it's in the center of the bar. So that means you're going to get approximately twice as much lift because of the way this lever is set up. So if this lever right here, between here and here where this bag is, or I should say between here and here where this bag is, lifts 8 inches, then this right here is going to lift approximately 12 to 13 inches. It depends on a lot of things, but anyways, back here it's going to lift more. Now, in order for that air shock I have, let's draw that out. Pretend this is the air shock, okay? Now, when this air shock expands, gets filled, it's only going to be about 5 inches taller. So the bottom part you can see here got longer. That's because it expanded. So that's going to be about 5 inches taller. Now, if this rear end has 12 to 13 inches of travel, then that means that this is going to have to be somewhere on this side of this bag because this shock has less travel in the bag. Otherwise, it'll restrict your travel. So, in order to accommodate for this, you're either going to have to mount your shock on this side of the bag, so it's on this lever, which makes your lift weaker because it's on a lever, but it gives you more lift. But what I want to do is I want to have this shock stock, or this shock exactly how it is here, behind the axle. Now, how would I do that and not restrict travel? Well, for my bottom mount, I have a top mount here like this. Bottom mount is going to be like this, but it's going to have a slot in it. So the shock can travel through this slot on the bottom. Okay, now here's another page with just an exaggerated drawing for you. So this right here is the collapse. So this right here is the top shock mount and the lower shock mount tab, which has the slot in it that I mentioned. So this is collapsed. So that's when the truck's sitting at its lowest point. That means that this point here, which is going to be mounted to my frame, and this part here, which is going to be mounted to the rear end, is going to be at its closest that it'll ever be together. Now that is what you want to set your air shock at collapsed height, okay? But it's going to actually travel down in this slot and be right there. Okay, so then when it expands, See the same top shock mount. This is an exaggerated example, but the rear end will be right here with this bracket on it. So pretend this is the rear end, this is the bracket. So when this expands, it's going to pull down the rear end, which will make this bolt that's previously here for the shock travel up to this spot. So if that's the case, it won't actually limit the travel of the suspension because it'll stretch the shock out enough and it will still be in this slot, which has to be there. Now, okay, say you put a trailer load on there and it squats a couple inches. Okay, it's gonna squat, but it'll only squat so far because you have this air shock, which is going to, in a sense, keep it from bottoming out or getting any lower than it would. So that might not make much sense when I kind of lay it out like this. This has never really been done before, probably because it's moving parts and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I like to push the envelope. So again, it is an exaggerated example. The slot that I'll have in mine is probably only going to be about 4 inches. So the way it'll work is it'll be more of a, I guess more of a bump stop, because the truck will only be allowed to go so low before the air shock hits and carries that load. But anyways, that's pretty much the end of this spring update series. We'll put each video for the rear end rebuild, nitrous kit, the Shift Plus, brake line, or the fuel lines. I'll put each one of those links in the description below so you can watch those specifically as they come. Those will be coming in the next few weeks. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Short series. Next, gonna get back to this thing. And then here's a little sneak peek at another project I'm working on. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Tinman 2 Kustoms out. Stay tuned. Big things coming this summer. Ciao, ciao for now. It's 2:30 in the morning. I gotta work until about 5 o'clock and go get my parents from the airport. I've had the house and the garage to myself for the last 3 weeks. It has been heaven. Anyways, I gotta keep myself awake, so yeah. Woohoo.